The Adani Group, an Indian conglomerate, has set its sights on Kenya. Their target? Key infrastructure projects, including the nation's busiest airport. This ambitious move has plunged the Adani Group into a storm of controversy. Kenyans are apprehensive. They fear the deal could compromise their national assets and economic future. At the heart of the storm is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. Adani's proposal? A 30-year lease to operate, develop and eventually transfer the airport back to Kenya. This unsolicited bid has ignited fierce debate, raising concerns about transparency and potential exploitation. Critics argue the deal lacks clarity. They question the government's decision-making process. The fear of foreign dominance looms large, with many Kenyans wary of ceding control of their critical infrastructure to a foreign entity. Adding fuel to the fire is Adani's recent history. The group has faced allegations of environmental violations and questionable business practices in other countries. This track record has only amplified concerns about their intentions in Kenya. The Adani Group paints a picture of progress. They promise a revitalized JKIA, a hub of modern aviation, attracting tourists and investors alike. Their plans include upgrading terminals, expanding runways, and improving overall efficiency. These investments, they claim, will boost Kenya's economy, creating jobs and stimulating growth. However, this promise comes at a price. The proposed deal grants Adani control over all airport revenues for the lease duration. This has raised alarm bells, with critics questioning whether Kenya will receive a fair share of the profits. Adding to the unease is the government's commitment to compensate Adani for the developed assets. This raises questions about potential debt burdens and the long-term financial implications for Kenya. The government maintains that the deal is in Kenya's best interest. They argue that Adani's expertise and financial muscle are crucial for transforming JKIA into a world-class airport. However, skepticism persists, fueled by the lack of transparency surrounding the agreement. The Adani deal has been plagued by accusations of secrecy. Critics argue that the government has not been forthcoming with the deal's details. This lack of transparency has fueled suspicions and eroded public trust. Key concerns revolve around the revenue-sharing model, the terms of the lease agreement, and the potential risks to Kenya's economic sovereignty. The government's reluctance to disclose this information has only deepened anxieties. The fear of losing control over a strategic asset like JKIA weighs heavily on many Kenyans' minds. They worry that the deal could compromise national interests and leave Kenya vulnerable to exploitation. The government's insistence on pushing through the deal, despite public outcry, has further fueled outrage. This perceived disregard for public sentiment has sparked protests and legal challenges, turning the Adani deal into a flashpoint for broader concerns about accountability and governance in Kenya. Kenya's civil society has not remained silent. Citizen groups and opposition figures are challenging the Adani deal, demanding transparency and accountability. They argue that such a consequential agreement should not be made behind closed doors. Lawsuits have been filed seeking to halt the deal and force the government to disclose the agreement's full terms. These legal challenges argue that the government bypassed proper procurement procedures and failed to conduct adequate due diligence. Adding to the pressure, the Kenyan High Court issued a temporary injunction, halting the deal's implementation. This ruling was a significant victory for the deal's opponents, providing a window of opportunity to scrutinize the agreement and its potential ramifications. The fight against the Adani deal has become a rallying cry for Kenyans from all walks of life. They view it as a battle to protect their national interests and ensure that development benefits the many, not just a select few. The controversy surrounding Adani extends beyond JKIA. The conglomerate is also involved in a project to construct high-voltage power transmission lines across Kenya. This project, too, has faced resistance, with communities raising concerns about land rights, environmental impacts, and the potential displacement of local populations. Protests have erupted near project sites, with communities demanding greater consultation and fair compensation. The government's response has been met with criticism, with accusations of using excessive force against peaceful demonstrators. Adding to the turmoil, airport workers have staged strikes, protesting the potential job losses they fear will result from the Adani deal. These strikes have disrupted airport operations, further highlighting the depth of opposition to the Adani Group's involvement in Kenya's infrastructure. The confluence of these protests and legal challenges paints a picture of a nation deeply divided over the Adani Group's presence. It underscores the need for the government to prioritize dialogue, transparency and respect for the rule of law in its pursuit of development. As the controversy rages on, the future of JKR hangs in the balance. The Kenyan Senate has launched an inquiry into the Adani deal, seeking to unravel the complexities of the agreement and assess its implications for the nation. The Senate's investigation offers a glimmer of hope for a more transparent and accountable process. It provides a platform for stakeholders to voice their concerns, scrutinize the deal's terms, and recommend a way forward that serves Kenya's best interests. The outcome of the Senate inquiry remains uncertain. The government could face mounting pressure to renegotiate the deal's terms, address transparency concerns, or even scrap the agreement altogether. The Adani controversy serves as a stark reminder of the challenges and complexities of foreign investment in developing countries. It highlights the need for robust regulatory frameworks, transparent decision-making processes, and a steadfast commitment to protecting national interests while pursuing economic progress.